This video will provide a brief introduction to the OnShape 3D modeling platform. Let's get started. When you go to OnShape, you'll have to sign in with the account you've created. Once you sign into the platform, it's going to take you to your dashboard area. This is where all of the parts and documents you create inside of OnShape are stored. From this area, you can either open a document, share your document with someone, view a document that was shared with you, or open a document that you've already created. For this tutorial, I'm going to open the document that I already created right here. Once this workspace opens, I am now in the primary area to create a 3D model in OnShape. The first thing that I see is the graphical window right here. Inside of the graphical window, I have my default geometry, which is represented by the front, right, and top view planes. Within the default geometry, I also have the origin, which represents the 0, 0, 0 location for my model. To the right, I have the view cube, which allows me to navigate and orient myself around my part. Above the view cube is the toolbar that switches between features and sketch tools, depending on what part of the shape I'm in. Then to my left, I have the features panel. Okay, so let's take a look at the sketch toolbar. To access the sketch tools in the sketch toolbar, we first have to create a sketch, which we can see here in our features pane. In order to create a 3D object, we actually have to create a 2D base first, known as a sketch. The tools we can use to create that sketch include the line tool, which allows us to create lines, the square tool, which allows us to demonstrate different types of squares, the circle tool, which allows us to create ellipses in different circles, the arc tool, which allows us to create different types of arcs or curved lines, the polygon tool, which allows us to create more complex polygons, the spline tool, which allows us to create a more free-form line based on a series of points, the point tool, which we can use to indicate a specific geometric location, text, which we can then insert into our models, the construction line tool, which allows us to turn an object line into a construction line, which allows us to create more complex geometry. We then have the sketch fillet tool, which allows us to take a 90-degree corner and then turn it into a curve. The trim tool, which allows us to remove part of a 2D sketch. The offset tool, which allows us to build a line within a line. The mirror tool, which can replicate 2D features across a construction line. The pattern tool, which allows us to create a pattern either in a circle or linear way. The dimension tool, which allows us to change the overall size of lines or our overall sketch. And then the constraint tool, which forces sketch geometry to have predetermined relationships with other parts of the sketch. You'll learn how to use all of these tools as we work through our OnShape problems. Now that we've explored the tools that are available in the sketch toolbar, let's take a look at our feature toolbar and see what options we have to turn 2D sketches into 3D objects. The first one that I'm going to demonstrate for you is the extrude tool. And the extrude tool actually allows us to add depth to any two-dimensional sketch. Now I went ahead and added a square into the front plane in sketch 1. This is now going to allow me to click on that, and I am going to change this to 3 inches to make it a perfect cube. And when I hit the green check mark, it expands that into a perfectly 3D dimensional 3-inch cube. Now the next tool we have is the revolve tool. The revolve tool actually works around an axis to create a spherical or round object, so I can't demonstrate that one right now. The sweep tool is a little bit similar. It follows a spline or a free-form line to be able to create a curved path, just like in the icon. Another tool that I could show you, if I had a second sketch, is the loft tool. Basically, you choose 2 sketches and it creates a tapered surface between the 2. Here we have the fillet tool. In order to make a fillet, all I have to do is just click on an edge or a surface or a face, and it will round out a corner or all of the edges of a surface. So here you can see I have a rounded edge. The next tool we have is the chamfer tool. When I choose the chamfer tool, I can either select a line or face, just like with the fillet tool, and it creates a beveled edge, just like the one we see here. The last tool, one of the last features I'm going to actually physically be able to demonstrate for you is the hole tool. Now the hole tool is driven by geometry, so we actually have to create a new sketch and place a point in order to actually use the hole tool. So I'm going to choose sketch and choose this plane, and I'm going to drop the point tool right on here. So that's just about center. We're going to leave it there. I can now close that sketch and select the hole tool, choose that point, and let's make this hole pretty large so we can see it. Now I've created a 1-inch hole that goes all the way through my object. If I rotate using the view cube in this bottom right corner, I can go to the bottom and see the hole in this view. Moving further down the line, we then have the linear pattern or the circular pattern tool. Using the linear pattern tool, you can replicate different geometry to either create a pattern in lines or in circles. We also have a mirror tool. If I wanted to duplicate geometry across a plane, I could select the object and then choose a plane to mirror across. I don't have an extra plane in my drawing right now, so I can't duplicate this object. Okay, so the last tool that I'm going to be able to show you is the plane tool. So when we place a plane into our drawing, it basically creates an additional drawing surface. Now this wants to create an offset plane, but I want that plane to be right against my object. So I'm going to hit 0. And what it's going to do is it is going to place this extra drawing area right there. I can actually now go back to the mirror tool, choose this 3D object, and select that plane. And what it's going to do is it's going to create that object across that plane. So now I have 2 of the exact same thing. So those are all the 3D tools that you're really going to need to know, and we will practice and use more of them as we continue through our projects. Now that we've explored the various toolbars and features and objects that we can create inside of OnShape, there's a few navigation features I want to review. First, over here in the Features panel, you'll notice that things built in chronological order as we built things for our shapes. We started with sketch 1, we extruded it to a cube. We filleted an edge and chamfered an edge. We then added sketch 2, added a hole, created a plane, and then mirrored that object. Anything at the top of the list was created first. Anything at the bottom of the list was created last. Additionally, if I need to view other areas of my object, I can use the edges of the view cube to navigate. Now I can view the bottom, and I can rotate back to the top by selecting that corner. If I just want to spin on the center axis of my object to review it, I can use these arrows to rotate the object around. I can also rotate across the vertical axis by using these other tools, or these other arrows. This concludes our introduction to OnShape.